What will happen with FPUC? Will it expire permanently, or will it get reinstated? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today. This one about FPUC, that's $600 from the federal government, UI and PUA. This is really the greatest news that this channel has had about FPUC for a very, very long time. Breaking news, and it's very fluid, so let me get right to it. First, the big news is that Republicans will extend FPUC. They've made that confirmation, whether it's Steve Mnuchin or Mitch McConnell, they're absolutely flip-flopping, and they're now saying they will extend FPUC. Second, they're saying they're going to do it on an emergency basis, which is really quite incredible. The White House's communication director minutes ago said that they're going to try to push for FPUC to be a separate bill unto itself and get it approved right away. They don't want it held up by a lot of stuff in a massive second stimulus package. More about that in a second. Third, they don't want people to lapse on benefits. This is also really good. So I had talked about the concern that some of you wouldn't get benefits for about 2 weeks and that we would be held up all the way to August 8th. The Republicans don't want that. So let me get right to the details of what is going on. First, as you know, the Democrats have proposed an extension of FPUC into 2021, keeping it exactly the same. It's currently $600 per week under the first stimulus package, paid from March to late July, that goes on top of UI benefits, unemployment, or PUA benefits. The Democrats don't want to change the amount. The Republicans saw one notable report, an economist report 2 weeks ago, that said $600 was too much money, that people were not making that type of money pre-pandemic, and that 2/3 of the people who were receiving that were getting too much money, and that if you reduce that money, you might solve the problem about 60% across the board. Well, here are the different words that have come out in the last few hours. And I want you to pay attention because a lot of you have been only quoting one word. It has literally changed minute by minute. First, the White House said they wanted to reduce it by 70%. Second, earlier yesterday, early today, somewhere around there, Mitch McConnell said, okay, I'll extend FPUC, but at $100 a day. Yeah, Mitch. Then some other Republicans said get rid of it completely. Other Republicans said $200. So where are we right about now? It appears that it will likely land at about $200 to $300 per week instead of $600 per week is the battleground of where we're going. Now, ultimately what I want you to understand is the Democrats are not moving. They're still at $600 a week. They are not moving on $600 a week. But the Republicans have not been able to agree upon what number they want. And so it appears, I'm going to get to you in a second why it is still not clear. It appears the Republicans are going to land at $200 to $300 a week. So why do we know this? First, Steve Mnuchin, who's the Treasury Secretary to Donald Trump, basically gave us a number. He said he's looking at about $200 to $300 per week. That lines up with the White House saying 70% of $600. That's that. Next, that number may still get moved. Why? Because Steve Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell have been drafting their proposal for a second stimulus package, which includes unemployment benefits, for 2 weeks. They were supposed to debut it on Monday. They did not. They did not debut it on Tuesday. They did not debut it on Thursday. So they said, we will debut it Thursday. They did not debut it on Wednesday. They said, we will debut it on Thursday. By 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, they had not debuted it. It could be landing by the time this video is uploaded. But a lot of Republicans, including one big Republican out of Alabama, says, hold up, I don't think you're going to see this package until next Monday. So what's going on? What's going on is bickering among the Republicans. They can't agree upon, one, unemployment benefits, whether it should be extended or not. Some don't even want to extend it. 2, they can't agree upon the amount. 3, They can't agree upon whether this should be an emergency bill by itself or part of a second stimulus package. 4, they can't agree upon the rest of the stimulus package. And the Democrats are sitting back and saying, make up your damn mind so we can sit down and start negotiating. So that's where we are at the moment. So I don't want you to think that you've only heard one thing from one group, like the White House, and that's the only Republican position. No, it is literally going like this by the hour. The plan equates to about $300, $400 a week. I mean, it's just all over the place. So Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says he wants about $200, $300 per week. He wants it reduced. He does not think that people should get 100% of unemployment benefits. Now, I have to laugh because that's not even the correct math, Steve. Steve is sitting back saying, you made more on unemployment than you made as an employee. Now he's saying, okay, we'll give you less so that you only make 70%. That's not even the correct amount. It actually contradicts what you just said. So you're saying at $600, now he's saying at $600, you're at 100% of your employment, your pre-employment salary. I mean, he's just not even keeping his story correct. The new policy, quote, will be based upon a 70% wage replacement, end quote, says Mnuchin. He expects that 32 million Americans will benefit from this, but the amount could still change later this week. I mean, really. Spokespersons for the Treasury Department and Senator Mitch McConnell said they would not comment further about this. Applying the same logic to Mnuchin's 70% replacement, the average person could receive about $310 per week. No, I don't agree. This is CNBC saying that. The math doesn't add up on that either. I mean, can these reporters not do their math? Base level benefits for UI or PUA is about, depending on what state you're in, is about $167 in California. Some states it's $99. Some states it's $139. So Mnuchin wants to potentially give you $200, $300 on top of that. So we're talking about in California, $167 plus $300. So that'll be $467 per week is what Mnuchin is proposing, possibly. However, it's possible Republican lawmakers may derive the weekly subsidy amount using a different figure. Oh, boy. I mean, they can't get... we've been talking about PUA extension for a couple of weeks, folks. Why can't these people make up their darn mind? I mean, it's enough already. Now, what's happening to everything else? Well, there's chatter that the Republicans still can't agree whether or not FPUC will be coupled or not coupled with the Brady plan and the Portman plan. Oh, God, like you're saying, LALATE, what now? Remember Portman? He wanted to provide money if you go back to work. And so he wanted to provide an incentive to go back to work because apparently, according to his notion and Republicans' notions, people don't like to work. People love a welfare state, which is just such hogwash. So Portman wanted to pay you $445 per week for every week you go back to work. If you ever went back to work anytime since the pandemic started, I mean, that's really quite great, but it's great if it's combined with unemployment benefits, not if it's only by itself. And then Brady wanted to give you $1,200 one-time payment if you went back to work on top of going back to work. So Steve Mnuchin would not comment if he thinks that FPUC is going to get extended with additional stimulus given to people who do get back to work. Ultimately, what I want you to understand is that the Democrats don't like even the piecemeal, as they call it, of the unemployment benefits. Now, this is really where it becomes sort of off the tracks and confusing and weird. You and me have both said they need to extend these unemployment benefits ASAP. I have reported to you that FPUC expires in late July, but states don't pay benefits to the day. They pay them by the week. The date of payment of benefits depends in every state, and FPUC has expired in some states already. I warned you last week and it was going to expire by Friday this week. Some states expired already on Monday. So the Republicans, ironically, it's the Republicans, not the Democrats, are saying, hey, this is an emergency. We need to extend this right away. Steve Mnuchin said that today. He says we need to extend FPUC right away. The White House Donald Trump's spokesperson said we need to solve unemployment extended right away. We need to do it as a separate bill and take that up before members of Congress first, before anything else, right away. I mean, someone pinch me because I can't believe this is coming from Republicans who have been stonewalling and didn't want to pay unemployment benefits. Now they're saying we are going to pay it and we're going to do it first before giving people free buildings in a second stimulus package. Someone woke up and really, got their act together. So God bless whoever said let's do it as a separate bill. Now, ironically, the Democrats are saying, no, hogwash. I don't like that. You all love my word, hogwash. We're not doing it as separate bills. We are not piecemealing, as they actually said, the Democrats. We want everything as one stimulus package, one bill, not 5 bills or 3 bills. I don't particularly like that. We have an emergency situation with unemployment. The emergency situation needs to be done now. It can be done in 24 hours. Get unemployment done now. Get the stimulus check done now. These things are emergency situations. Get rent assistance, get hazard pay done now. And then do all that other stuff in the next couple of weeks. Get these things done now. And apparently the Democrats say, no, we'll just get it done and we'll stay in Congress until August 9th or 10th if we have to get it done. Democrats, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because people need unemployment benefits now. So if you are sitting home, and I had a really nice viewer, let me go to her comment. It just dawned on me. I had a really nice viewer, and this is so important for all of you. I have told you that if you qualify for FPUC, PUA, UI, get on them right now. Let me answer 2 big questions I got overnight. 1, a viewer said, I am disabled, I'm unemployed, I've never worked. Can I go get that FPUC? No, sadly no. FPUC is something that goes on top of PUA or UI. You have to actually be eligible and approved for PUA or UI to get that FPUC from the federal government. FPUC is not its own separate program. So unfortunately, no, you cannot get it. Second, I had one really, really nice viewer send me a private message yesterday in the private, which is for EIDL, but she sent it in the private there as well. And she said, hey, I'm in California, and I went in there, and they're not allowing me to get my benefits back to March. I'm impacted since March. Sadly, she apparently has not been a viewer for a very long time of this channel. She's a new viewer. And I have warned everyone, and I'm warning you right now. If you have not gotten on the PUA or UI and you're eligible, get on it right now. And please pull out a pen and paper and do this right away. You need to ensure that you list the date of impact correctly. She did not. She showed me a screen grab, and it showed that her date of eligibility, which is what they call it, period of eligibility, showed June 2020 to June 2021. She said, I can't certify for benefits. I can't get benefits back to March. What's going on, Ella? What's going on? They made a mistake. I said, nope. Sadly, they didn't make the mistake. You made the mistake. You clearly did not list your eligibility date starting in March. You listed in June. So they are only paying you benefits from June forward. You understand how serious a mistake it is financially? March, April, May. 4 months, or 3 months, March, April, May, 3 months, 4 weeks in a month, 4 times 3, 12 weeks at about $400 a week, $500 a week. Big financial mistake. She made a big calculation error. So they think her window of eligibility is from June forward when it was really March forward. So if you're watching this video and you think you qualify for PUA or UI, go apply for it right away. And make sure you list the date correctly for your eligibility. Double check it before you press enter. If it's March, list March. Because if you list July, if you list today, you won't get those what are called retroactive benefits back to March. Let me go over a couple real quick questions and other people have asked, and let me detail them for you right now. When you go to apply for PUA or UI, where do you go? Your state's unemployment website. It's a central location for both UI and PUA. How do you apply? Some states require you to do one application for both things. Some states have separate applications. Next, to apply for PUA, you have to be ineligible for UI. You must be ineligible for UI. PUA is for independent contractors, sole proprietors, business owners. You can't be under UI. UI is for employees, like you work at Macy's. And you can't be both. You can't switch. You can't have both at the same time. You can't go from one to another. It's one or the other. So ultimately, do it correctly. When you go in there and you apply, you need to understand the following. If you are in a PUI, if you are a PUA person applying, please get out pen and paper and write this down. Anything that has the word employee or employer in it is a big ass no. Did I say ass? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a big ass no. Do you have an employer? No. Do you have an employee? No. Did you have a place of employment? No. There is no employer employment situation for PUA. Please understand that. A lot of you work for your own company. I am John Smith, and I am employed by my own company, John Smith Plumbing LLC. I'm an employee. No, for purposes of unemployment assistance, don't use that mindset. They specifically tell you don't do that. Don't do that. So you are not an employee. You don't have a place of employment. You don't have an employer. You are self-employed. So you go through the process, you go through everything, you get to that date of impact. What date were you impacted? Well, for PUA, understand the following. And boy, this is so important. If you were issued a state lockdown or a county lockdown in March, and your number of hours of work decreased because of COVID-19 and have never improved, that's the date of impact for you. That date of the issuing of the lockdown. Just Google the date in which your county or state said the lockdown. If it's March 20th, it's March 20th. Put March 20th in there. Then when you're finally done with the applications, it'll say date of impact. And the date of impact will, if you listed March 20th correctly, will say March 20th to December 31st. You did it right. Next, what you have to do is certify for benefits. You have to certify for every single week of benefits. So we'll start you on the first week. So if you got approval for March, it'll start you on March. With the nice woman I was talking about before, it started her in June because she had done it wrong. So it'll have you do each week going forward. And each week you certify. Once you certify, it'll say processing in the payment tab window. And then from processing, then it'll send out the payments. It sometimes does not list the $600 from the federal government in the processing tab because computers are old, but you will get the $600. Sometimes the $600 comes from a different manner than you're getting the state unemployment benefits. And there you go. 3 things to remember. 1, if you qualify for escalated benefits, apply for them. Escalated benefits are based upon 2019 earnings. So if you made more than $30,000 last year, you qualify for escalated benefits, which bring you to the highest level of your state benefits, which is about $300 to $400 per week. Next, when answering for Certify for benefits on a weekly basis, listen to these 2 questions and don't mess them up. First, would you have worked if you wanted to work during this week? Answer yes. It's asking you a mental question. 2, would you have been able to work if you could have worked this week? Answer yes. That's asking a physical question. Are you physically able to work? With that, a lot of great news. Finally, a personal note. Thank you for staying with this channel. This channel started PUA on its very, very first day. We did PUA before it wasn't even live. I don't think anyone was covering PUA, FPUC at all when we started recording them. Now, today or tomorrow, this channel has been blessed and will probably reach 100,000 subscribers because of you. We have gone through the entire process with FPUC and PUA with you. A lot of you viewers are brand new to it, so thank you for joining us. Ultimately, the whole process is not over. We're going to be on this pandemic for a couple months, so I want you to get the benefits you need. I want you to stay tuned. I want you to stay informed, stay educated, stay motivated, stay smiling, stay positive. And I hope to help as many of you as I can. And as always, thank you, and stay with LA for more.